$0.49. That's what one serving costs. One fruit. Available at any grocery store in America. And a published clinical trial showed it improved insulin sensitivity in just 6 weeks. The fruit is the blueberry. But before you click away thinking you already know about blueberries, you don't. Because most people eat them the wrong way, at the wrong time, and cancel out 70% of the benefit without realizing it. And here's the part that should bother you. There are 7 fruits sitting in your kitchen right now. 3 of them are helping your blood sugar. 4 of them are destroying it. And nobody, not your doctor, not the label on the bag, is telling you which is which. I'm going to rank all 7 today, worst to best. Number 7 is the one most seniors eat every summer thinking it's harmless. Number 1 is why a woman named Doris saw her A1C drop from 8.4 to 6.1 in 90 days. Her endocrinologist asked her what she changed. She said, 1 fruit. He wrote it down. My name is Dr. Leonard Javier, and today I'm going to show you exactly what Doris did, why it worked, and which fruits you need to stop eating immediately. So let me explain why fruit is so confusing for anyone managing blood sugar. Because fruit is not one thing. It's not like salt, where more is worse and less is better. Fruit is, actually, think of it like a medicine cabinet. Some bottles in that cabinet heal you, some bottles make you sicker, and a few of them, they look identical on the outside, but the contents are completely different. Here's what happens inside your body when you eat fruit. The sugar in fruit is mostly fructose. Now, fructose doesn't go straight into your bloodstream like glucose does. It takes a detour. It goes to your liver first. Your liver has to process it, and in small amounts, with fiber intact, your liver handles it fine. Blood sugar stays stable. No spike, no crash. But, and this is the part nobody explains, when you eat fruit without the fiber, when you juice it, blend it, or eat a fruit that's naturally low in fiber and high in sugar, that fructose floods the liver. The liver panics. It converts that fructose directly into fat. And worse, it triggers something called hepatic insulin resistance. Your liver starts ignoring insulin. And once the liver stops responding to insulin, your fasting blood sugar goes up. Even while you sleep. Even when you haven't eaten in 12 hours. That's why some fruits help, and some fruits hurt. It's not about sugar content alone. It's about the fiber matrix, the polyphenols, and the speed of absorption. A fruit with strong fiber and high polyphenols slows everything down. A fruit without those protections hits your liver like a glass of soda. And once you understand that mechanism, you'll see why number 1 on this list is so powerful. It doesn't just avoid the damage, it actually reverses it. Let's start with number 7. Number 7, watermelon. And I know how that sounds. Watermelon is refreshing. It's hydrating. It's practically all water. How bad could it be? The glycemic index of watermelon is 72. That puts it in the high category. Higher than white bread, higher than a baked potato. And most people don't eat a small cube of watermelon. They eat 2, 3 cups at a time, sitting outside in the summer. That's the trap. Now, here's the nuance. Watermelon's glycemic load per serving is technically low because there isn't much carbohydrate per bite. It's mostly water. So a single cup? Probably fine. But the way most people eat watermelon, large portions on an empty stomach, often as a snack between meals, that's where it becomes a problem. And for anyone over 70 with blood sugar concerns, eating watermelon on an empty stomach is one of the fastest ways to spike your glucose. Because there's almost no fiber to slow it down. It's essentially sugar water in a green shell. Here's what to do instead. If you love watermelon, eat it after protein. A small portion. After a meal. Never alone. And never as a snack. That one change, eating it after protein instead of on an empty stomach, can cut the blood sugar impact by almost half. You can get a small personal watermelon at Costco or Trader Joe's for under $4. Cut it into portions ahead of time. 1 cup. After dinner. That's the rule. But number 6 is the one that tricks people the most, because it comes with a health claim on the label. Number 6. Pineapple. Now, pineapple has this reputation. People hear about bromelain, the enzyme in pineapple that helps with inflammation, digestion, all of that. And they think, well, if it has an enzyme that's good for me, the whole fruit must be good for my blood sugar, right? Wrong. The glycemic index of pineapple is 59 to 66, depending on ripeness. That's moderate to high. But here's the real problem: the sugar content. 1 cup of pineapple chunks has over 16 grams of sugar. And the fiber? Only 2.3 grams. That ratio, high sugar, low fiber, is exactly the combination that overwhelms the liver. A study published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition measured postprandial glucose responses to tropical fruits and found that pineapple produced significantly higher blood sugar spikes than other fruits in the same portion size. The bromelain doesn't protect you from the sugar. It digests protein. It doesn't slow down glucose absorption. Actually, let me say that more simply. Bromelain is good for your joints. It's not good for your blood sugar. 2 different systems. People confuse them because the word enzyme sounds healthy across the board. It's not. If you enjoy pineapple, a few small pieces after a protein-rich meal. Never blended, never juiced. And honestly, there are better fruits for blood sugar that taste just as good. We'll get to those. Number 5 is the one I see in kitchens constantly, especially in the summer and fall. Number 5. Mango. Mango is one of the most popular fruits on earth, and I gotta tell you, the sugar content is staggering. 1 whole mango, the kind you buy at Kroger or Publix for about $1.50, contains 46 grams of sugar. 46. That's more sugar than a can of Coca-Cola. And look, I'm not saying mango is poison. It has vitamin C, it has beta-carotene, but if you're trying to control blood sugar after 70, eating a whole mango is one of the worst things you can do. The glycemic index of mango ranges from 51 to 60 depending on the variety and ripeness. But the glycemic load, the number that actually matters for your blood sugar response, is high because of the sheer volume of carbohydrate per serving. You sit down with a mango, you're eating over 50 grams of carbs in one sitting. For context, that's the same carb load as 2 slices of white bread. And this is the part that gets me. I've had patients tell me they stopped eating bread, but they eat a full mango every morning for breakfast. They think they're making a healthy swap, and their fasting blood sugar keeps climbing, and they can't figure out why. If you love mango, half a mango. Cut it in advance, store the other half, and eat it after your protein, not before. That half portion, eaten in the right order, is manageable for most people. And by the way, if you're someone who struggles with what happens to your blood sugar overnight, while you sleep, I put together a guide called The Midnight Insulin Trap. The link is in the description below. Take a look when you get a chance. Now, number 4. This is where most people get genuinely confused, because number 4 is a fruit that almost every dietitian recommends. And they're half right, but only half. Number 4, grapes. Here's the problem with grapes. 1 grape, tiny, harmless. But nobody eats 1 grape. You sit down with a bowl, you're watching television, and before you know it, you've eaten 40, 50 grapes. And 50 grapes is about 36 grams of sugar. That's the equivalent of 9 teaspoons of table sugar from fruit. Grapes have a glycemic index of around 59, moderate. But the issue isn't the GI. The issue is the portion trap. Grapes are small, sweet, easy to pop. There's no peel to remove, no pit to slow you down. You eat them faster than your brain can register fullness. And here's something most people don't know. The skin of the grape contains resveratrol, which is genuinely good for your cardiovascular system. But the flesh and the juice inside? Pure fructose. So the medicine is in the skin, and the sugar is in the rest. 10 grapes. That's a reasonable portion for someone managing blood sugar. 10. Not a bowl, not a handful. 10 grapes, eaten after a meal that started with protein and vegetables. And I know that sounds extreme, like I'm taking the joy out of it. But here's the thing. 10 grapes after a meal is actually plenty of flavor. It's the mindless snacking that causes the damage. Now, number 3. Number 3 is the one with a secret, and the secret changes everything, depending on one variable. Number 3. The banana. This is the fruit I get more questions about than any other. Can I eat bananas? Are bananas bad for blood sugar? My doctor told me to stop eating bananas. And the answer is, it depends. On one thing, the ripeness. Here's what most people don't know. The starch inside a banana changes its molecular structure as the banana ripens. A green banana, the kind that's still firm, still slightly bitter on the tongue, is loaded with resistant starch. Resistant starch is not digested in your small intestine. It passes through to your colon. It feeds your gut bacteria, and it does not spike your blood sugar. But a ripe banana, yellow, spotted, soft, that resistant starch has converted into simple sugars. The same banana, same size, same weight, completely different blood sugar response. A study published in Diabetic Medicine showed that unripe banana flour significantly reduced fasting blood sugar and improved insulin sensitivity in type 2 diabetic patients over 12 weeks. The glycemic index of a green banana is around 30 to 40. The glycemic index of a ripe banana? 62. Same fruit, different chemistry. So here's the rule. If you eat bananas, eat them slightly green. Not brown spotted, not fully yellow, slightly green. The firmer the banana, the more resistant starch, the less blood sugar impact. And you can slice a green banana into yogurt or oatmeal. The texture difference is actually small once it's mixed in. And here's the part most dietitians won't tell you. A green banana, sliced and cooled in the refrigerator for 2 hours, actually increases its resistant starch even further. Cooling converts more of the starch into the resistant form. Same trick that works with potatoes and rice. And if you're living with type 1, I see you. Most of what I'm covering today applies to type 2 and prediabetes, but the fiber and resistant starch principles are relevant regardless of type. Now here's where things start getting good. Number 2. Number 2 is a fruit so common you probably have it in your kitchen right now, and it has a built-in defense system that most people throw away. Number 2. The apple. There's a reason the old saying exists, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And for once, the science actually backs it up. But only if you eat it right. The key compound in apples is pectin. Pectin is a soluble fiber found in the skin and the flesh, but mostly in the skin. When pectin reaches your stomach, it forms a gel. That gel coats the inside of your digestive tract. Think of it like pouring honey through a colander. Everything slows down. Glucose absorption slows down. The sugar from the apple, and from whatever you ate with it, enters your bloodstream gradually, instead of all at once. A study published in the journal Diabetologia found that pectin reduced post-meal insulin demand by 35%. 35% less insulin needed, from a fiber that's already inside the apple. But here's the mistake. Most people peel their apples, or they eat applesauce, or they drink apple juice. And the moment you remove the skin, or break the fiber through processing, you lose the pectin effect. Apple juice has zero pectin benefit. Applesauce has minimal. A whole apple with the skin on, that's where the medicine is. And the cost? A single Fuji or Gala apple at Aldi or Target runs about 70 to 90 cents. Cut it into slices. Eat it after your protein at lunch or dinner, with the skin on. That's non-negotiable. A study from researchers in Japan, published in Foods in 2022, tested apple consumption before a rice meal versus after. The group that ate the apple first had a measurably delayed blood glucose peak and a smaller overall spike. That's the meal sequencing principle applied to fruit. Apple first, then your carbohydrate. Actually, no. Let me correct myself. The ideal order is protein first, then apple, then carbohydrate. Protein, fruit, carbs. That's the sequence that gives you the strongest protection. So if apples are number 2, what could possibly be number 1? Here's where Doris comes back into the story. And speaking of the sequence, what you eat matters. But what your body does between 2 and 4 a.m. matters just as much. That's exactly what I cover in The Midnight Insulin Trap. One specific nighttime pattern that undoes your daytime progress. The link is in the description if you want to understand why your fasting numbers are still high despite eating right during the day. Number 1. The blueberry. I told you at the beginning, Doris, 71 years old, A1C of 8.4. Her endocrinologist had been pushing insulin for 2 years. She refused, said she wanted to try food first. Her doctor was skeptical, but agreed to give her 90 days. Doris didn't go on some extreme diet. She didn't eliminate carbs. She didn't fast for 18 hours a day. She did 3 things. She added 1 cup of blueberries every single day. She ate them after her protein at breakfast. And she stopped drinking fruit juice entirely. 90 days later, A1C 6.1. Her endocrinologist didn't congratulate her. He pulled out his phone and searched the research. Here's what he found. A randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2010, led by Dr. April Stull at Pennington Biomedical Research Center, gave obese, insulin-resistant adults the equivalent of 2 smoothies per day made from freeze-dried blueberry powder. Control group got a placebo. After 6 weeks, the blueberry group showed significantly improved insulin sensitivity compared to placebo. Their cells started responding to insulin again. Let me say that again. In 6 weeks, their bodies became better at using their own insulin. Not from a drug, not from a procedure, from a fruit. Now here's the mechanism. The active compounds in blueberries are called anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are the pigments that make blueberries blue. And when they enter your bloodstream, they do something no medication replicates exactly. They activate an enzyme called AMPK, adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase. Think of AMPK as a master switch inside your cells. When AMPK turns on, your cells open their doors to glucose. Glucose moves out of the blood and into the cell where it's used for energy. Blood sugar drops, insulin works better, and the effect lasts for hours. A separate study, a meta-analysis of 22 randomized controlled trials published in Nutrition, Metabolism, and Cardiovascular Diseases in 2022, found that blueberry and cranberry intake reduced fasting blood glucose by nearly 18 milligrams per deciliter and reduced glycated hemoglobin, that's your A1C, by 0.32% in people with type 2 diabetes. 0.32% from fruit. That's not a miracle claim. That's a published meta-analysis across 22 clinical trials. And for someone at 7.4 trying to break below 7, that 0.32 could be the difference. And a 2021 trial from the University of East Anglia, published in Clinical Nutrition, tested the equivalent of 1 cup of fresh blueberries in adults with metabolic syndrome, average age 63. The blueberry group showed lower fasting glucose, lower insulin, and improved cholesterol in adults who already had metabolic dysfunction, not healthy college students, people like you. Now, the cost. A 2-pound bag of frozen blueberries at Walmart costs between $5 and $7. A single serving, half a cup, which is roughly what the studies used, costs you about 49 cents. Frozen works just as well as fresh. In some cases better, because the berries are flash frozen at peak ripeness, which preserves the anthocyanin content. And here's where it gets even better. Blueberries are one of the lowest glycemic fruits that exist. The glycemic index of blueberries is 53, lower than apples, lower than bananas, lower than grapes. And the fiber content, 3.6 grams per cup, combined with the anthocyanin effect, means your blood sugar doesn't just not spike. It may actually improve over the hours after eating them. That's what happened to Doris. She wasn't doing anything complicated. Half a cup of frozen blueberries, every morning, mixed into Greek yogurt, after her eggs. That's it. And her A1C went from 8.4 to 6.1 in 90 days. And I know many of you watching right now are on metformin. Some of you for 10, 15 years. I'm not going to tell you to stop taking it. That's between you and your doctor. But what I am showing you is what happens when you add 1 cup of blueberries alongside it. Because that stall study? Those participants were already insulin resistant. The blueberries worked on top of their existing condition, not instead of treatment, alongside it. Now, before I give you the full action plan, there's something critical I need to tell you. Because some of you are about to go home and make a mistake that cancels everything I just taught you. Stop. This part is important. I need your full attention for the next 3 minutes. There are 4 fruit mistakes that cancel the blood sugar benefit completely. And the first one, almost everybody does. Mistake number 1. Fruit juice of any kind. The moment you juice a fruit, any fruit, you strip out the fiber and concentrate the sugar. A glass of orange juice has 21 grams of sugar. A glass of apple juice has 24. That sugar hits your liver in minutes. No fiber to slow it, no pectin to form a gel, just pure liquid fructose. Drinking fruit juice is metabolically equivalent to drinking a soda. I don't care what the label says. No sugar added doesn't mean no sugar. The sugar was already there. You just removed the part that protected you from it. Mistake number 2. Fruit in a blender. I know smoothies are popular. I know they look healthy. But the moment you put fruit in a blender, you shred the fiber matrix. The fiber is still technically there, but it's broken into pieces so small it no longer forms that protective gel in your stomach. Your body absorbs the sugar almost as fast as if you drank juice. A blueberry smoothie does not give you the same benefit as eating whole blueberries. Not even close. If you must blend, add protein powder first, use a small portion of fruit, and drink it slowly. But whole fruit, eaten with a fork, is always better. Mistake number 3. Fruit on an empty stomach. This is the biggest timing mistake I see. People wake up, eat a banana, or a bowl of grapes, nothing else, on an empty stomach. That fruit sugar hits your bloodstream with nothing to slow it down. No protein, no fat, no fiber from a previous course. The fix is simple. Protein first, then fruit. Even a few bites of yogurt or a boiled egg before your fruit changes the absorption curve dramatically. The study from Japan I mentioned earlier showed that eating an apple before rice delayed the glucose peak. Protein before fruit does the same thing, but even stronger. Mistake number 4. Dried fruit. Raisins, dried mango, dried cranberries, dates. These are sugar bombs. A quarter cup of raisins has 29 grams of sugar. 29. And because the water is removed, you eat more volume without feeling full. The fiber is still there, but the sugar-to-fiber ratio is so extreme that the fiber can't compensate. If you take warfarin or blood thinners, pay extra attention to this. Some dried fruits, especially cranberries, can interact with warfarin and affect your INR levels. Talk to your doctor before adding concentrated fruit products to your diet. So, 4 mistakes. Juice, blender, empty stomach, dried fruit. Avoid all 4, and the 7 fruits I just ranked will actually work for you instead of against you. Now, the action plan. Here's exactly what to do, starting today. I'm going to give you a morning to evening fruit protocol. Simple. No overwhelm. Step 1. Breakfast. Half a cup of frozen blueberries, mixed into Greek yogurt or eaten after your eggs. Every morning. Buy a 2-pound bag of frozen blueberries at Walmart, Aldi, or Costco. $5 to $7. That's enough for about 2 weeks. Step 2. Lunch. If you want fruit at lunch, 1 small apple, with the skin on, eaten after your protein and vegetables, not before, not as a snack between meals, after the meal. Step 3. Dinner. No fruit at dinner. Dinner is for protein, vegetables, and, if you've been following my lentil recommendations, lentils. Save fruit for earlier in the day, when your body processes sugar more efficiently. Step 4. The timing rule. Never eat fruit alone. Always after protein. Always after a meal. This one rule protects you more than any specific fruit choice. Step 5. The portion rule. Half a cup of berries. 1 small apple. 10 grapes. A few slices of green banana. These are serving sizes, not a bowl, not a bag, a measured amount. Step 6. The variety rule. And look, I know what you're thinking. Am I supposed to eat blueberries every single day forever? No. Here are 3 ways to keep this interesting. Day 1. Blueberries and yogurt. Day 2. Strawberries sliced over cottage cheese. Day 3. A small apple with almond butter after lunch. Rotate. Mix it up. The principle stays the same. Low glycemic fruit, after protein, measured portion. But the flavors change. That's how you make this sustainable for the rest of your life. Step 7. What to eliminate. Starting this week, remove all fruit juice from your refrigerator. All of it. Orange juice, apple juice, grape juice. If it comes in a bottle and says fruit on the label, it's not fruit anymore. It's sugar water. Replace it with whole fruit eaten at the right time. That's the protocol. 7 steps. 1 week. Track your fasting blood sugar every morning. By day 3, you should start seeing a change. And here's one more thing I want you to know. Everything I showed you today, the fruit timing, the sequencing, the blueberry protocol, all of that helps during the day. But there's something your body does between 2 and 4 in the morning that can undo all of this progress while you sleep. It's called the dawn phenomenon, and most doctors